wings, impossible wings, messengers that bring.
That's the -5 from their new album, Oar On, Penelope. What does it all mean? Well, we found Scott McCaughey at his home in Portland, Oregon, where he was happy to tell us. But actually, the clues are in this new video, one that tips its hat to a common love that we both share, that of the band Mott The Hoople.
Too beautiful, man, too beautiful to stand.
Before we get into the record, I was watching your video of Words and Birds, and me being a record geek, I could see there were records flying around in the background, and one of them looked like a Mott The Hoople bootleg that I have, which was here, but it wasn't. But it did say The Hoople on it, so it was a Scott The Hoople record that you.
Ah, yes.
So I was very excited about that, and then I got to realize that you do this Scott The Hoople thing, and I was wondering if you ever. I have this thing called a CD by it. I can't believe it's not Mott The Hoople.
Oh no, I've never seen that. Where's that from?
I don't know. I think it's an Australian issue thing. It was made in Germany, but it's just basically some band covering Mott The Hoople songs.
Oh, that's great. Well, that was how the Scott the Hoople thing started. Was I did a 10-inch CD of it was like 4 Ian Hunter covers, and the rest was just all my stuff. But I did it for like a solo tour of Spain. I wanted to have something to sell, and so that was the first thing. So it was called Spain Capers.
Right.
So, yeah. It was a play on words, and I copied the cover and everything like that too.
Nice.
But so that was how the Scott the Hoople thing started, and so I've kind of kept doing it with sort of tending to be covers, a lot of cover songs and stuff like that, but not always. But yeah. So
how did you discover?
I love my Ian Hunter. I love Mott.
He's still going, man. I talked to him a couple of months ago.
You did? How was he?
He's great. Yep.
Yeah.
And he's older than Dylan, you know.
Yeah, and he's 85 now or something.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
He's in really good shape. It's just too bad that the tinnitus just laid him low, because the -5 was set to go on tour with them with Mott The Hoople in 1974. They were going to do the West Coast, and we were the opening band on the whole West Coast, and so we were just crushed when that. We were crushed anyway, whether we were going to be on it or not. But it was just like really, really, really a double whammy. It was like so sad, but
I think he's still hoping he's going to be able to do something eventually, but
I do hope so, man. He's so good. We just the Young Fresh Fellows just had Morgan Fisher play on a couple songs.
Oh, cool.
So I'm all about Mott, of course.
Did you see the reunion when they did the thing in 2009?
I did. We went to. Well, no, I didn't see the first one. I saw the 74 one. Which which we flew to Chicago. Me and a couple of the other fellows flew to Chicago to see him, because we didn't know they were going to do the West Coast at that point, and so it's a good thing we went, because as it was, that was the only time we got to see it. But it was fantastic. Of course, I did see the band, in 73 and 74, and 5 or 6 times. So
that's good. Yeah, I caught them in 73. Best concert I ever saw. It was Mott The Hoople was a headliner, and the support bands were Aerosmith and New York Dolls.
Oh yeah. That's Peter Buck saw him on that tour too.
That was great.
Saw him in Atlanta with that same lineup. I was like, oh man, that's so amazing, so amazing.
Yeah,
I did see him with Queen opening.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. I didn't see that.
That's pretty good too. Yeah.
Was that on Broadway, or was that just?
No, it was before that. It was Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, great.
A weird place to see him. Not a very good venue. And Ian Hunter got really mad at the crowd because they were not listening when they did "Rest in Peace."
Oh man!
And he stopped in the middle of the song and said, "Shut up, you fuckers!"
Good on him.
Yeah, I know. It was great. Yeah, I loved that.
I want to mess with Ian, get him on there.
No.
Anyway, okay, back to the -5 here.
Okay,
so got this new album coming out in about a week or so. Very exciting. It's called Oar On, Penelope, which is taken from a lyric from the Words and Birds song. But what does it mean?
Well, that's everybody's asking me, and of course I say I don't really know.
Okay.
But I mean, it just came out of my mouth. But I have an idea of what it means. It's kind of like it's kind of a rallying call for for women, basically, just to keep on doing what you're doing and keep fighting and keep rowing, you know,
Yes, don't stop.
against the grain,
Yep.
that kind of thing, because it just seems like the world would be a better place if women were more in more in power and empowered instead of getting torn down again like they are now.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, they definitely are. Because you have a song called "The Garden of Arden," and I thought it was Ardern for a moment about Jacinda, our former prime minister, who
No,
she
no, it
had
wasn't.
she had a problem with, and she basically had to leave the country because
Oh, that
she was
so
getting threats
sucks.
and stuff. And she's
Oh,
she's doing well in Harvard, I think. So,
oh my God.
but it's not
That's
cool.
terrible though. That's so bad. So bad.
She got stuck with the COVID thing, and people,
I thought she was awesome.
she was awesome. She
I thought
still is.
she was fantastic. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. But yeah,
It's
there you go.
terrible. But yeah.
Is the Arden in that song one of the Sharon or Dawn Ardens?
No, it's actually a reference to Eve Arden, the
Oh
actor.
yeah, Eve Arden. Okay, I know who that.
Yeah, yeah, because I love her and I think she's amazing and she's a really strong woman and I just love her wisecracking, niche that she held as an actor. She's in so many great movies, and it's not just about her because I didn't make it so most people who hear the song don't know that it's about her.
Yeah.
That she inspired it, but because there's a lot of other things that goes to the Garden of Eden, with Eve, and yeah, there's a lot of different moving parts in it, but yeah, it's inspired by her
Cool,
actually.
cool. And
Yeah.
there was a mention of Silver Machine in there. I thought, okay, maybe we're talking about Hawkwind now.
Well, of course, I was a reference to Hawkwind, but it was also what's the line? It's about a golden voice in a silver machine. So that
Yeah.
was going with the black and white films and the cameras and all that
Yep.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I always do as many references as I can to other music
Yes,
groups.
I've noticed that.
So,
That's
so
great.
I was definitely thinking of Hawkwind in that one too.
Very good. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. I can get Hawkwind in there too.
Yep. Yep. Well, I happened to be lucky enough to be in England in 1972 because I was born there, but grew up in the States. Went back to visit my grandparents. I was like 16, and Silver Machine was a hit. I'd never heard it before. It's like, what is this? That's how I discovered David Bowie and Mott The Hoople and all that stuff. It was like exploding all over the place. It was,
So amazing that song was a hit. That's what's so cool.
yeah. And of course, Lemmy's in there singing it. It's
Right, yeah, yeah.
freaking amazing. And the other guy, and I see you got Alejandro Escobedo in your Blow in My Bag video kind of at the beginning of that. That's him, is
Yeah.
there?
Blow my bag. Come on.
When the bell says no one's coming, blowing my bag. If your cup keeps overrunning, blowing my bag. Ghosting yourself, flat fork relay, Napoleon rowboat, back and forth across the bay.
Yeah, he's a good friend and I was just kind of rounding up some people at the last second to do. I mean, I make these videos on no budget and without you really having a definite idea and just try to come up with something so that when they put out a digital single, there's something you can show.
Sure.
And so at the last second, I was just like called Chuck Prophet and Stephen Linda
As you do.
and Alejandro and stuff and said, "Hey, could you say blowing my bag to a camera?" They're like, okay." And so Al did it. It's the last second, so that's why he got tagged in the beginning because he sent it like a couple days after the video was done, and
Right.
so I
Easy to
just
chop it on the beginning.
I talked on there. But I love it. He was like, "Blow my bag." Blow my bag. It's so funny. But yeah, it was really nice of him to do that. And he's great. He's working on a new record
Oh,
now,
good.
but not with us. But
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
we did that one record with him like 5 or 6 years ago. That was probably 7 or 8 years ago now. That was a great record, and it was a really great tour we were doing and everything. Unfortunately, I got stroked out in the middle of
Yeah.
it, but it was but that was a great record, and we had such a good time touring that. It was
Yep,
really
yep, yep.
fun.
Well, Alejandro was here. He's a big Mott The Hoople fan himself,
Of
and
course, of
he came up
course.
here in my. We do little video sessions, and he sang "I Wish I Was Your Mother," so that was
Nice,
kind of
nice.
special.
We've sung that together quite a few times, he and I.
Yeah,
It's such a classic song. I love
yeah.
it so much. Yeah, I've been playing that, in bands since since it came out, pretty much.
Yep, I
Like
don't blame you.
my first band, Hannibal's Chorus Boys, played that song, and I think I've played it in every band I've been in since then.
Yeah, as you should, as everyone
Yeah,
should.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Very good. And
Yeah.
and you mentioned your stroke. You look like are you fully recovered? Are you feeling good?
No, I will never be fully recovered, but I'm feeling good because I can do what I do, and it's different. It's
Yeah,
different to play music now. It's different than it used to be, but I can still do it, and so I will never complain because I'm lucky. So yeah, but it's different, but yeah, I can a lot of people can't really tell
right.
that
Yeah.
I'm different, but
You kind of had to know
I can
before and
certainly
after,
tell.
right?
I can certainly tell, but yeah, but it's but I'm just happy that I can still make it work. It's different writing songs. The lyrics get even weirder than they used to be, and my lyrics were always kind of weird, but they're weirder now because that's the speech center of my brain is got killed basically.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Okay.
so it
Yeah.
took a while to come back from that, and it's still a challenge. I can't remember words at
Right.
all.
Right. Right.
So have the music stand a lot of the time and all that stuff, and I don't really like that, but I also don't like standing up there and not knowing what's going to come out of my mouth
Right.
next.
Fair enough. No. No.
If nothing is going to, but no, it's all right. I'm people don't complain.
No,
They
why would they?
and
No, they
I'm and I'm
shouldn't.
and I'm not complaining either. I'm
Oh,
not
good.
complaining.
Are you
Yeah,
familiar with Chris Knox?
yeah, uh-huh.
So he's suffered a major stroke years ago, and
Yeah,
pretty much put him out of commission. He's done a few
yeah,
shows since then. They've been
uh-huh,
pretty wild. You talk
uh-huh,
about punk rock. I mean,
yeah.
that's putting it out there
What did he do? And how was the stroke debilitating to him?
majorly. I
Yeah.
mean, can't speak at all, I don't think.
Okay.
So he
So
made
what does
noise
he
when
do
he
in
was
his
singing. He was just making noises,
Wow,
but it was
wow.
incredible.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
really
it
beautiful.
was. So,
Oh
so
man.
yeah. And did you just play on Little Steven's Underground Garage Cruise?
We did.
What
We
was that
did.
like?
It was fun. It was it was a lot of work because we were playing in three different bands.
Well, that'll teach you.
And we did the Nuggets thing with Lenny Kaye
Oh
and
man.
learn all those songs, and we did the -5 and we did the baseball project. So
Right.
though it was a lot, but and we kind of had to rehearse in pieces because some people live in New York, some people live in Georgia, some people live in Portland. So
Yeah.
we actually, when the -5 played, when we played the show was the first time that group had all been together on stage when we were actually playing the show.
Right. Right. Right.
We never got to rehearse all together, but it was fun, and there was lots of, I mean, the great music. Seeing the Flesh Tones were
Yeah.
always amazing. The
Yep.
Woggles, Rocket from the Crypt, they were amazing. Yeah, the Untamed Youth, who I hadn't seen since the 80s, I think, or early 90s. They were fantastic. So yeah, the Dictators, it was a lot of great music on board there. Yeah.
Yep. I think a version of the Chesterfield Kings was there.
Yeah, they were good too. They're
They're
great
from
too.
Rochester, so I know Andy.
Yeah. Oh, of course, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
House of Guitars.
That I used to work there. I made a lot of their TV ads.
Oh, no kidding.
It was the
That's
last thing
awesome.
I did in Rochester before I moved to New Zealand was
Oh,
sit with
that's funny.
Armin and make a TV ad.
That's funny. So
Yeah.
how did you end up moving to New Zealand?
Job offer basically as a video editor here, but kind of a midlife crisis kind of thing. Brought the whole family down. It was the
Wow.
smartest thing we ever did.
Well, it's not a midlife crisis if you bring the family with you.
No, that well,
You're supposed to ditch your family and get a red sports car.
Yeah, well, next time.
No, no, I appreciate you did it that way, and you actually brought your records with you too,
Oh yes.
which must have been horrendous to do that.
Well, they came about 6 months later in a container,
Right, right.
because it took them forever to
Wow.
float.
Wow.
But they all made it, man.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on living in New Zealand and not living in the United States of America. I will say that for you right now.
Thank you. Yeah, it's tough over there. I'm not going back anytime soon.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Nuggets. One of the tracks I like is "Let the Rope Hold Cassie Lee," which sounds very nuggetsy. Maybe you can tell me how that came about.
Do I remember anything I said? In one canal and then I go astray. Every day's another litany. Moments cave like rocks into the sea. Let the rope hold, Cassie Lee. Hey, let the rope hold, Cassie Lee. Hey, let the rope hold, Cassie Lee.
Well, it kind of was. I mean, I would like to say that I knew that would be a hit on the Underground Garage, but I didn't know that. But probably in the back of my head, probably thought, this one might get some airplay on Sirius with Little Steven. But no, that song just came out of nowhere. I was trying to write a song. I think I had a show coming up a couple of years ago, and I thought it'd be great if we could do a new song. So I should write a song that has 4 chords, doesn't change at all, so I can just say, okay, we're going to do this song, and you don't have to hear it or learn it or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that was it, and it's just an automatic song, and the lyrics just came to me as I was writing the song, which is pretty unusual for me nowadays. I usually kind of labor over the lyrics, or they sit around in a notebook for a long time or on my phone or something, and then I end up putting them to words. But this was a song that happened all at once, and so that's always a good feeling. And yeah, but it's kind of, in a way, I would say it could be a throwaway song, but of course it becomes the hit
Yeah, of course.
of the record. But I mean, I knew it was good. I knew it
Yeah.
was good. I mean, I only considered it a throwaway because I just threw it out. I mean, I just wrote it really quickly, but I knew right when I wrote it, I thought, this is really something. I like it. And I
Who's
mean, I
playing
was thinking,
are you playing the guitar? Is that the guitar solo?
Kurt Block.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Young Fresh Fellows is the guitar player, and it was a live track. It
Yeah.
was as is most of the record, really. At least side one is pretty much all kind of live takes and live solos and everything like that. So, but yeah, I knew it was good. Because I mean, when I say a throwaway, I say that with all the reverence that.
Of course, I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
It just came so easy. It's like you didn't have to think about it.
And I was thinking in terms of like a Nuggets. I mean, I was, because we've always played, -5 has played for years. We played Little Black Egg,
Right.
and that's kind of a really simple song like that with really weird lyrics. And so I was kind of thinking I could do something like that. Yeah.
Why not?
Although not being a 15-year-old kid in Florida,
Yeah, well.
I was came from a different place, but my brain is young in its own reborn form now.
Who did was it the Nightcrawlers little way?
Yeah, the Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Why do I know that?
Because they're great.
That's true. Exactly.
That's such a weird song. Where did that song come from? Who knows? It's just so weird.
Yep. So did you play it with Lenny at the Nuggets thing on the cruise?
We were gonna play that song, but we didn't get to it. No, actually we did play it. We did. It was one of those. It was one of those that was on the set list, and we cut it off, and then at the last second we did it, and I really butchered it. I couldn't remember the words, and I was playing it really badly on guitar. So, but I shouldn't say that, because maybe he's putting out a live record of it, and it'll be really awesome. I don't know.
It probably will be.
Yeah. But I wasn't pleased with my rendition of it.
Okay, fair enough. And so we should talk about whoever, because the -5 is kind of a movable feast. Who else is in the band these days?
Well, the basic band on the record is Linda Pittman on drums, who plays with the Baseball Project and with Steve Wynn, of course, her husband,
Yep.
and Luke Haynes is. We've been doing Peter and Linda and I have been doing records with him since pandemic. We've done 3 records with him now. The third one's coming out in June, I think.
Right.
And so Linda's on drums. Peter Buck plays bass most of the record.
Right.
He does some 12 string and stuff too, but he basically played bass on the basic tracks. Um, Kurt Bloch played lead guitar on pretty much the whole record, and Debbie Peterson sings.
Oh yeah.
She sings on every song, and I play guitar and organ. And there's a few guests. Spencer Tweedy played on a couple songs, played drums on a couple songs, and Patterson Hood sang from Drive By Truckers, sang on a
Right.
couple songs.
Nice.
Ed Stasium mixed the record, which was a new thing for me because I've been mixing my own records for quite a while, but I thought it'd be really cool to have a real
Somebody who
expert
knows what they're doing.
who makes record. Yeah, exactly. And who's made some of the greatest sounding records,
Yeah.
by so many bands that I love. And I'd never met him, and I called him, and he said, "Yeah, let's do it." He loved the music, and he was just fantastic with it. And he just texted me a few minutes ago. He said hearing probably Let the Rope Hold Cassie Lee on while he was driving around in LA. He just came on the radio, so he texted me. So that's
Cool.
pretty cool. But yeah, he's a great guy, and I actually did end up meeting him on the cruise. He went on the little Stephen cruise, so
Right.
it was the first time I actually met him. We made the record together, but we did the mixing all long
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah.
So but he was fantastic, and he's a great guy, and he added a lot to it, and yeah, so that's the basic story of the record. It was kind of the easiest record I ever made.
Yeah. Well, not bad.
It
I
just
just
it,
I
it just it fell together so quickly.
I just
Yeah.
interviewed Vicky Peterson with John
Oh yeah.
Council.
Yeah, that record is fantastic
It
that
is
they
good. Yeah.
I love it. They're opening the first 3 or 4 shows with us in
That's what I
the
thought. Yeah. It's
yeah.
pretty nice.
And so we'll have Debbie and Vicky both there. Because
Yeah.
Debbie's gonna do the West Coast tour with us too.
It feels like there's like a resurgence or a revival or something going on, especially with the West Coast people, Steve Wynn and the Dream Syndicate, and all these people are kind of active again or being
Yeah,
at least
yeah,
something going on.
yeah.
Does it feel like it
Well,
to you?
they did that Paisley Underground record a few years back where they all covered each other's
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
and it was really, really great. I love that. And the Long Riders are still going too,
Yep.
and they're making great music with Ed Stasium, in fact. And yeah, they're so I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't know if it's because people get back together, if they just want to get back with their old friends or what. I don't think it's at all for commercial reasons because there's no guarantee that it's going to do anything,
Right.
you know. But yeah, I think it's just fun to make music with friends, you know.
Alrighty. Yes.
That's what it's all about for me. Yeah.
Pick another song. You mentioned that you name check lots of artists, so that's kind of what I'm going by. And I see you mentioned Marianne Faithfull in one of your
Um,
tunes, Death the Bludgeoner.
right. And it was before she died, of course, and
Yeah,
and it wasn't. It was I love Marianne Faithfull.
I think she's like
I'm
one of the most underrated artists of all time.
absolutely, me too. She's just so incredible, and I was really sad when I heard she died eventually. But she had a real close call during COVID. She
Yeah,
almost,
yeah, yeah.
but she rallied, and she was just yeah, she's really underrated.
I
I
mean,
mean,
her output from '79 on,
right,
she's always gets pigeonholed as Mick Jagger's girlfriend or whatever.
right.
But you put Mick's output from '79 on next to Marianne, she wins hands down in my
Oh,
book.
absolutely, absolutely. There's no contest. Although I will say that Mick Jagger is really being very entertaining these days with his Instagram popping up in weird places all along the road while they're on tour. He's having a good time, and I appreciate that.
Good
And
on him.
yeah, good on him for sure. But no, Marianne Faithfull was just so amazing, and so I just thought it'd be nice to drop her name in there, even though it was in a weird spot in the song. But it's all tribute to her. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten responses from somebody who name checked and they've either liked it or not liked it?
I don't know. I can't remember if I have. Ian Hunter was is always been kind of bemused by my love of him and everything,
Right.
but he's a really good guy, and I think when he saw the EP or the 10 song record I put,
Yeah.
Spain Gapers, he wrote me a note that something like, "Scott, you mad fool," or something like that. I was like, I took that as a
I would
compliment.
take it, yeah.
Yeah,
Coming
yeah,
from Ian, yes, because he,
yeah,
he
yeah.
he does not suffer fools, you know. He
No, no, he doesn't. He doesn't. And I think he probably enjoyed the takes I did of his songs. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they were pretty. I mean, I was doing the quieter side of
Okay.
Ian Hunter on the record because it was a solo record. I'm
Yeah.
I'm only one on the record, I think. But so yeah, but I think he appreciated it because it wasn't I wasn't doing all the way to Memphis or anything like that. I wasn't doing any hits or anything like that. So he probably appreciated it, I think, a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
But I don't know. I haven't heard anybody getting angry 'cause I don't carry enough clout to get anybody angry.
yeah. Fair enough.
I don't think, but yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, on the other side of things, you have like They Might Be Giants wrote a song where they mentioned the Young Fresh Fellows
Right.
in the song, and that was like so many people over the years have come to me, I never heard you guys until I heard that song
That's
where you
pretty
mentioned
cool.
that They Might Be Giants, and I really got into you guys. And so that's a really positive thing. I
Yeah,
love,
and at least it's a cool band that mentioned you. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. It's
could
true.
have
I
been
love that.
Journey or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. But no. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What other ones if anybody else I've offended or made them feel really good. I don't
All
know.
right.
Uh, Hopefully the second. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about several of the cuts on the album. There's 12. Anything that you want to point out or talk about that you think we should be
Um,
aware of?
well, let's
You
see.
have a favorite song on the album that we think we should?
I love every song on the
Go for
record.
it.
I really do. It's like when we had this band camp had a live listening party the other night, and I was listening to it with all these other people online, and we were talking about it
Yeah,
on text and everything, and it was like every song was like, well, this one's great, this one's great. These are powerful. They sound really uplifting and really rocking, and a lot of that is to the musicians who didn't hear the songs beforehand and were taught to them in the studio and immediately came up with great parts and knocked them out,
yeah.
out of the park. And then Ed added so much to the overall sound of it. So yeah, I really like all of them. I think I don't know I don't really have a favorite, Words and Birds is kind of jumps right off the page at you
Sure.
because
Yep.
I knew it was going to be the first song on the record the minute we recorded it, and every time I hear it, I think that should be the first song we play live. That should be the first, because it just has a vibe to it. I don't know what it is about it because there's nothing different to it. It's just four people playing in a room, and it's live pretty much, and it is live except for the singing,
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
um so it just I don't know why it turned out so well.
And you do point out that the bird is still the word in that song.
I do. That's another nod, of course, to
What
the
I want to know is how the bird
tradition.
became the word.
Well, no one will ever know. You have to ask the trash men, like you have to ask the night crawlers what happened with
Yes.
the little black egg again, a
Yeah.
birds
Yeah.
again. Yeah,
But
birds are really awesome. And we have the young fresh fellows always had a thing about birds too. We had the Electric Bird Digest, and so yeah, they're birds are cool. They really are for
Yeah,
sure.
we used to have a
Um,
jukebox in my house in Rochester with 45s in it. We always had, and my kids when they were growing up, because you could just play it, you didn't have to put a dime in or anything. And Surfing Bird was in there, and man, that got played like crazy for,
oh yeah,
little
yeah,
4-year-old kids bopping around listening to Surfing Bird.
right, right, right. It's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I really like all the songs. I could pick any one of them could be my favorite at any given time, you know?
Excellent. All right, so you're heading out on the road?
Yeah, in a week.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, next Friday we'll be heading down to California and playing in the old spots, the Cosby in San Diego, Pappy's and Harriet's in Pioneer Town, Zebulon in LA. That's which is a kind of a newer place, but it's a really good club. We played there
Right.
with NRBQ there a few years ago.
Oh,
It's
nice.
it's a really good place, and they hosted Michael Hurley, who's a big hero of mine.
Oh, yes. He just passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we did a big tribute show to him in a park in Portland where they had like 49 people get up and play a song by Hurley without
Mhm.
any repeats, I think. And I did a song there, and that was really awesome. And there's going to be one in Seattle in middle of June. But yeah, he's a great one. He's one of my all-time inspirations, you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
another one who never got his due when he was around, because
No, I mean, well, he did luckily in the last like 15 or 20 years or so, he kind of started
yeah,
getting the young people somehow discovered him. Like I think because Cat Power did a couple of his songs or something, and people started picking up on him, Vetiver and some of those kind of the new folk guys were getting into it, and
yeah,
so he was actually his career was thriving for him on the level that he was,
right, right. That's cool.
he was playing he was coming back from a rock festival he did in Ohio when he died, and
Yeah,
yeah, and I just thought he was gonna go forever. I just saw him a few months ago, and
yeah.
he seemed like he hadn't aged really for the last 20 years or
I
something,
bet.
But yeah, it's sad. But because he was really doing really well, and he's got a new record coming out too. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's that time of year. It's that time of life where every day
Yeah. You're
you're
afraid
hearing
to wake up in the morning and find
somebody
out.
who's a friend of yours who's a musician
Yeah.
who you played with, or somebody just a musician that you revered for so long. So knock on wood that it
Uh,
slows down a little bit or
I think
something.
it's only going to get worse because there's
It
just
is.
more of them, and everybody's
I
getting
know.
older. We all
I
know it.
know. I know.
Our time is coming.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But
right.
what are you gonna do?
Well, I think my time came about 8 years ago,
You
but
dodged it.
luckily I
Good
dodged it.
one.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
yeah, you're
yeah.
looking and sounding great. I love the record. It's fantastic, and
Thank you.
yeah, come bring it on down to New Zealand if you can.
I would like to. I haven't played there for a long time. I played there. I think the last time I played there was with Robin Hitchcock,
Oh yeah,
probably in the Venus 3. We were down there. Oh, that was probably 10 or 15 years ago. I went back for a week with my wife
I
for
think I went to that show. You played it, uh, and I think Peter Buck was at the door when I came in.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
What kind of
yeah.
world is this? Where
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the club was. It was a
is it?
pretty
King's
small.
Arms, I think.
Yeah, that's it. That sounds like it. Yeah.
Yep,
So that was really fun. Really fun.
yep, yep. I remember it very well.
But my number one all-time experience in New Zealand, if you don't mind me saying, was
Please.
when we were playing R.E.M. was playing at the racetrack down
Yep,
there,
I was at
and
that show too.
and Crowded House
Yep.
played, and they hadn't played much for a long time, I think, and you know, I mean, our show was fantastic. The crowd loved us. It was great. But for me, it was being out there in the crowd when Crowded House was playing and having the 60,000 people singing along with every song.
Yep. And it still
It,
happens.
it was just a mind blower. It was a
It
mind blower. It was
it
so great. I
Those
loved
songs are so good. I mean, Neil Finn is
it.
incredible songwriter. His studio Roundhead is on the same block I'm on right now, and I see him sometimes in the morning. He goes out jogging and stuff.
Oh man,
But man, I was at that
I,
show. It was just when I
I
first came
love
to New
that.
Zealand. It was a beauty, man.
I love that so much. Yeah,
Yep.
that was amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we can make it down here again and
I would like to. I would like to,
win.
but what'll happen if we stay?
That's all right. I got room. And like I said, I'm sure Neil will put you up. He's got
I
room.
remember when we went back down there like in 95 or whatever, a long time ago, that they said, well, yeah, they were trying to get people to move there. They said, yeah, you guys can move here. I was like, I can't imagine it's like that anymore.
No.
I think they would want the Americans to stay away, but man,
well, fortunately, it's usually the right Americans who want to come here.
Right.
Some of them are just rich and they figure, well, they'll buy out the place, so that ain't so good.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, we don't want that. Yeah,
gotta have a vetting process.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I made it, and
I'm glad you did too. It's really cool. It's really
excellent.
Really...
All right, and I'm glad you made this record, and I'm glad you're feeling ready, rare, and rocking to go, and out on the road. It's going to be awesome. So
I'm going to keep going, keep making music. That's all I can do right now. That's all we can do, I feel like.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.